I wonder how you're feeling about Lent this year. I know in many ways Ash Wednesday was particularly difficult this year to say the words over others, "Beloved, remember you are dust, and to dust you shall return." It was wild and difficult to ponder mortality, to ponder death in the midst of a year of so much death. As a beloved high school youth communicated to me earlier this week, she said, "I'm kind of over Lent, over the somber season. The whole year has been somber." Isn't that the truth? It's been a hard one. And still, God is with us, even when it doesn't feel like it. Still, God is loving, even when we don't feel love. Mercy, peace, and love be yours in abundance. Throughout this season of Lent, we'll be focusing in on change, on various aspects of change. And we begin today anchoring ourselves in something that does not change, God. As communicated in Isaiah 40, verse 28, "Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. God does not grow faint or grow weary. God's understanding is unsearchable. The Lord is the everlasting God." In the midst of reality, in the midst of this reality, with over 500,000 Americans deceased from COVID, over 2.48 million human beings from throughout the world deceased from COVID. In the midst of this reality, we have an everlasting God, a God who remains with us, a God who is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and compassion. God who is with us wherever we go, as proclaimed in Joshua 1:9. God who forgives. God who makes all things new. In the midst of reality, in the midst of many, many things we would like to change, we have the constancy of God who does not change. A reading from Ecclesiastes 3. "For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. Fellow human beings, there is a time for all things, and God is constant throughout whatever each day brings. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. Throughout each season of the year, each season of life, God remains constant and welcomes us to be a part of God's work in the world. Like yeast leavens bread, we are ushered by the Spirit into lives transformed by God. God's love has the capacity to shape and reshape our lives in the midst of reality. We can welcome God's unfailing love to permeate our very being. Anchored in God's enormous love for all of humanity, we are set free to love God, to love others, to love ourselves. God loves you completely as you are, not as you wish you were, or anyone tells you that you should be. You are loved wholly, utterly, unendingly. May God's unending love for you anchor you no matter the season. You are beloved of God. May you enjoy it and share it.